Hello and welcome back to the Apex Gaming $5,000 Modern Open. I'm Tandy, joined by Bomat. Say hi, Bomat.
Hi, Bo Matt.
We got 3 rounds in the books. That means we are getting close to the middle of the day,
That's
which
so
is
true.
the end of this round. So round 4 of 8 of Swiss today, followed by top 8. We're going to be bringing you all the action here in one day. Tomorrow we actually have a Pioneer 2K to bring y'all as well. That should be pretty fun. But we got a lot of work to do today, so let's go ahead and talk about the match we're going to be watching today, specifically Corey Baumeister, the man, the myth,
Yeah.
the legend, the Core B.
So Corey's going to be coming at us with the Jeskai Breach, his signature deck.
Oh yeah.
Uh, get ready to see a lot of that. Corey will. Corey's usually at the top table, so let's say that. Yeah, and then Corey's opponent will be Nick Mincucci playing Burn.
And Cucci. Andrea's brother? No?
Not quite.
Close?
Probably also Italian. I'll say that, but a different name, Mincucci.
Right, fair enough. So Corey does normally his backpack stream on these weekends, but unfortunately he had some technical issues. So we're just going to have him basically sitting in the feature match area for the rest of the day or until he's done with the tournament and is ready to be done. So he's always going to be on backup, but we're going to be having him be the feature match now. So they're about ready. Let's go ahead and head on down to the feature match and get started. Corey is playing that notable Jeskai Breach shell. Does have many copies of the One Ring, a nice new addition to the deck. Works nicely with Urza Saga as well as Imri Lurker the Lock. You can actually chain One Rings over and over again to get that protection clause for as long as you can chain them together. Your opponent doesn't interact with your Imri or your rings in the graveyard. Nice little addition to the deck. All right, both players taking a look at their openers. So we are going to be underway here in just a moment. On your left, we're playing Nick Mincucci's Burn. He's 2-1. Corey's 2-1. Let's see if there's mulliganers going on or anything like that. Yeah. Mincucci puts one back.
And won the die roll.
Here's the
starting
Goblin
off
Guide.
the best possibles.
Yeah.
Goblin Guide.
2 damage coming through. Flips top card. It's a Sacred Foundry. Corey, happy to have it land, but sad to see a Goblin Guide, I'm sure.
Also sad to see a shock land. It's not going to be not optimal.
Yeah. If he has a Unholy Heat, Lightning Bolt, something like that, he can use that to take care of the Goblin Guide. He can actually play Mishra's Bauble so he doesn't have to discard. Draw the basic mountain?
Wow.
What a sicko.
What's it like?
Yeah. I mean, he is Corey, right?
That's true. Corey's going to lead off with this bauble and think about it.
Definitely playing the mountain. That means it's either Ragavan or removal spell. Look, I saw the RCQ promo in Holy Heat. I know because I've lost so many RCQs.
Yeah, that's a familiar sight to certain RCQ competitors. We've got 2 creatures, a little more than one removal spell can handle. Corey's going to resolve this Goblin Guide trigger. Looks like a miss. And then Unholy Heat will take out the guide.
All right, so 1 damage is going to come through with the Monastery Swiftspear unless a Lightning Bolt or something is played. But Mincucci chooses not to. Going to go ahead and just keep that Lightning Bolt close to the vest. And Corey,
Ooh,
going to draw his main deck Haywire Might. Pretty good against the Burn deck, I got to say.
Yeah, Corey is definitely running hot with these draw steps. Let's see what order he wants to deploy all these cards in his hand.
Now, this might be a good turn to play the Sacred Foundry tapped. That way you don't take damage from it, and then he can use his fetch lands next turn to fetch island.
Right.
But he might have a little more up his sleeve outside the Haywire Might, so we'll just have to wait and see what he wants to deploy. This Burn deck does a great job of putting you under an immense amount of pressure in a very short period of time.
Yeah, Corey's going to go into the tank. Got a lot of decisions here. One important thing about the tapped Sacred Foundry is that does not let you cast Expressive Iteration on turn 3 if that's what Corey is going to try to do, because he might be a little bit flooded here.
Fair play. Yeah, it seems like his hand is full of lands, and Goblin Guide did give him an extra one, but here it is. Haywire Might and Tap Sacred Foundry. We're back Mincucci's way. We draw for turn. I know we have Searing Blaze. We can fetch. We can Searing Blaze the Haywire Might. It's essentially only going to deal 1 damage because the Haywire Might gains 2 when it happens.
That's almost the best you can hope for when you're facing down a Haywire Might in game 1. Even if you attack with the Swiftspear and are able to like Searing Blaze or something like that, the Haywire Might still being able to block means your opponent is going to get their value with this Might one way or another. And it will be a Searing Blaze.
All right, so down to 14, up to 16, down to 14 again with the 2 damage attack. We're going to go back Corey's way. No third land from Minkuchi. Just 3 burn spells in hand.
Right. And I believe one of those burn spells was another Searing Blaze, which means this could get interesting. Nick's going to need that land drop for the Searing Blaze to reach its full potential.
All right, Baumeister draws. Looks like an Emery Lurker of the Lock. No artifacts to reduce the cost, so could pay full retail. 3 mana for it. Then start rebuying the Haywire Might over the next few turns if Minkuchi doesn't decide to clear it.
Definitely a threat.
Fetch, down to 13. Gonna go get that island. Save some life points. Has access to all his colors now. Gonna be thinking about what to play while shuffling. We'll see what he wants to deploy. Any 0-mana artifact can reduce the cost. A 1-mana artifact is essentially free if you want to play the Emery. If he has Springleaf Drum, one of those other 1-mana artifacts in hand. Has Teferi Time Raveler. This one's okay. Comes
Not bad.
4 loyalty, can tick up to 5. Plays Mox Amber. Gonna bounce the Mox Amber, floating a blue. Whoa, play it again. And that lets him play Grinding Station? Oh, he could have played Emery too with the mana floating. That would have been
That's
sick.
true.
But maybe he's going for the kill next turn.
Yeah, I think Corey has the feeling this game is quickly going to be ending and is not going to waste any time maybe trying to get value off that Emery. There's another creature for Nick, notably not a third land.
All right, finds a Scalding Tarn off of the Goblin Guide, and now we're going to be taking 3 damage post-combat. We're going to skewer the critics. And now we have the combo. He reveals Underworld Breach. He reveals the 4th mana source, and those 3 cards together ultimately let him flip over the top card of his deck and then play, you guessed it, Thassa's Oracle, everyone's favorite win condition from competitive Commander to Modern to Legacy, Vintage, whatever. Just ruining people's lives.
Yeah, Corey just says, okay, skewer the critics, and then what? Pass? Okay,
Yeah,
you
no
are
lands.
dead.
Yeah. Let me explain how you're dead. Instead of having to do the 14,000 game actions that it takes to end the game, like you have to do on Magic Online.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched him play the Modern Challenge on stream last weekend, and game 1 or match 1, he timed out.
Wow.
With like almost lethal on the stack, and it was like he was so frustrated because it's just not something that happens in real life play, you know.
Yeah.
But
well, you say that, but I have also watched Corey play a fair amount in paper, and the clean combos, yeah, he can do those pretty quickly, but there's a lot of messy games with Breach where you're trying to manipulate your resources and get into the perfect spot where you're playing through your opponent's disruption and still being able to combo. Corey's very good at that, but it does also sometimes take a while.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so as these players are shuffling up for game 2, I'm going to throw it over to Matt and let you give us the sideboard as well as your expert analysis on what you think they're going to be bringing in.
All right, so starting off with Corey, in the Breach sideboard, we have 2 Fury, 2 Prismatic Ending, 2 Hallowed Moonlight, 2 Wear Tear, 3 Spell Pierce, 1 Engineered Explosives, 1 Shadow Spear, 1 Tormod's Crypt, and 1 Teferi Time Raveler.
All right, of those cards, are there any that stand out to you? Like, these are must-haves in the deck?
Well, I'm noticing one of these cards does say Lifelink on it.
Ah, which one?
That would be Shadow Spear.
Nice.
So Corey's
Love
definitely going to be bringing in Shadow Spear to be able to tutor it off of his Urza Sagas. Beyond that, he's likely interested in these Spell Pierces. Anytime you can trade for one of those burn spells, that's an entire card your opponent was trying to spend that will prolong the game just that much more for you.
Question.
Yes.
Hypothetically speaking, if Corey had Healing Salve in his sideboard, is this a matchup where you would board in Healing Salve?
Well,
because it seems about on par with Spell Pierce, if I'm being real. I was thinking like, oh, that's just Healing Salve, but like,
yeah,
it is kind of just Healing Salve.
It is Healing Salve, but you know what? When your opponent is playing a bunch of cards that are the opposite of Healing Salve, you go, you know what? Maybe my opponent's plan is for me to not play Healing Salve. I'll just try to cast one of those.
All right, so on the other side of the table, Corey's burn opponent might be packing the heat. Let's see what he's got on the docket.
All right, Nick Minkuchi has 4 Sanctifier on Vec, 2 Chalice of the Void, 2 Path to Exile, 2 Smash to Smithereens, 2 Exquisite Firecraft, 2 Wear Tear, and 1 Rest in Peace. So definitely Nick's going to be looking for a Rest in Peace here because comboing, just like Corey did in that game, is going to be one of the best ways for Corey to actually win the game before Nick's deck does it at his pace. Beyond that, the Chalice of the Voids are interesting. They also shut down the combo because most of the time when Corey's comboing, it's going to be through repeated casting of Mox Amber and Mishra's Bauble.
Yeah.
Beyond that, Wear Tear is another great one. It's a very efficient answer to Urza's Saga, and Corey also has plenty of artifact cards in his deck that the Wear can also answer.
All right. Well, if you look into the rest of the feature match area here, you'll see on your left, you'll see Pro Tour competitor and regional championship Dallas top 8 competitor Elliot Raff. He's playing Yawgmoth. Hopefully we'll get to see one of his games in this match. Love Elliot. He's staying in our room, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, good guy. On your right, closer to the screen, you'll see Popper Shirt. That's LR Smith, Popper aficionado. I was on his channel recently doing an interview while we played some Popper, and I gotta say, Popper's a really fun format, and it's nice to have people in the community that are like dedicated to like a niche thing that other people enjoy, and they can kind of be leaders in that space. And we're really happy to have him out as one of our special guests. So.
Yeah, we are definitely hoping to have him on a feature, if not this round, then a later round. He's got a spicy one that we're going to tell you about a little bit later.
All right. Well, as we are shuffling up here for game number 2, let's head on back down to the match as they begin. Burns going to be on the play. No 1-drop, though. Just Bloodstained Mire for Nick Mincucci. Not the best start, but probably has a flurry of burn spells. And Corey B going to start it off here. Mishra's Bauble taking a peek. Do you want to fetch it away? Do you want to keep it? Decides to keep it. Here's Spire Canal, another Bauble. Anything else? Doesn't have Emery, else definitely would have went turn 1 Emery with the double Bauble start. That's powerful stuff.
Corey is definitely contemplating something, and he will just pass.
A lot of little micro decisions. Probably wants to wait to crack the other Bauble so he can see Mincucci's draw step, and wants to make sure, like, you know, he probably wants to do it now after the fetch so that he can maybe draw Spell Pierce or something to stop those rolling vortexes or Boros Charms or what have you.
Right, and this is definitely one of the reasons Corey loves playing this deck is it is just full of micro decisions, like you said. Every turn there's about 7 different choices you can make, and there is a rolling vortex quickly answered with the Spell Pierce.
Corey ready for that heater out of the sideboard. Rolling vortex down, and Corey is up. Draws a card off the Bauble. Draws a card for the turn. Let's see if he can deploy a threat. Let's see if he can get any action going or wants to continue playing this reactive strategy. My guess, maybe like a tap land this turn, but could go full-blown skis, looking for maybe grinding station and setting up a kill next turn.
He would.
I mean, I would.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me get it closer. Would. All right, fetches Island, down to 19. Mincucci not liking the Spirebluff Canal into Island.
Oh, yeah.
Wants to see way more fetch shocks.
Yeah, Spirebluff into Spell Pierce. It's a wild opening. And here's a Ragavan.
Bang. Flips a spike. You gonna deal 3, Corey? What's more important, treasure or deal 3? I think deal 3, maybe.
I don't know if that's in Corey's game plan, and he agrees.
All right. The treasure does matter for combo killing later, so I get it.
It's mana. You can always use mana. I like mana.
You can use it right now. Do 3.
That's true.
Lava Spike from Mincucci going to send Baumeister down to a healthy 16. And back Corey Baumeister's way. Looks like Wear Tear in the hand from Mincucci. Maybe a couple Boros Charms or Lightning Helixes. Looks like some multicolored spells. Baumeister draws. Looks like another Ragavan. Maybe going to look to deploy that front face up instead of dashing this turn since Searing Blaze mana is open. Maybe he doesn't want to play a creature at all.
Yeah, this could be a good spot to deploy that Teferi Time Raveler if Corey is reading his opponent for a Searing Blaze. Because you're right, that's one of the best answers to a Dashed Ragavan that Burn has to offer.
Corey is really tanking on this one, and for good reason. I don't think he has another land, or if he does, it's likely a shock land, and he's thinking, do I want to play this tapped or untapped? Dash Ragavan. Mincucci, you got the answer. No. Takes 2.
No answer.
Another treasure. Flip a card off the top. It's a Goblin Guide. This one seems like it's pretty good to play just because at the very least it can be a blocker.
But if Corey is as landlight, as you mentioned, he might
He's not.
still...
I lied.
All right. He does have this shock land, but yeah, just going to play that tapped and spend a treasure on the Goblin Guide.
All right. Now that one can be aggressive later. It can also be defensive over the next few turns to block an opposing Goblin Guide or something like Monastery Swiftspear. I know that these burn decks are shying away from more creatures, not playing Eidolon the Great Rebel too much anymore. What do you think about that?
Right. So this is a matchup where Eidolon, you know, it has some value. All of Corey's cards are cheap except for the One Ring. But Roiling Vortex has almost a greater effect in this matchup against the zero cost spells, Mage's
Right.
Bauble and Mox Amber. And then you get into the other matchups in the modern metagame where people are playing Solitudes
Yeah.
and
Fury, Cascade stuff.
yeah, the entire Cascade deck. Those the Roiling Vortex is just going to be way more potent in a lot of the tuned up modern metagame with all these Cascade decks.
Sure.
So that's the direction players are turning nowadays.
All right, so after that Boros Charm, Mankuchi untaps, draws, and passes turn again. Looks like his hand is relatively strong. Doesn't have lands, but does have a bunch of burn spells. A Wear Tear hiding in there. I believe Searing Blaze, but no
Right.
landfall. Can use that Searing Blaze to deal 1 to the Ragavan and 1 to Corey's face, but that's not really where you want to be with it.
Yeah, just the wrong draw step for the Searing Blaze. He didn't draw it until after he had already cracked that fetch land.
Now, Corey here quickly main phase fetching. To me, this signifies the One Ring is about to come down, and that's going to give him a little bit of card advantage, but also is going to brick off some sorcery stuff from Mankuchi next turn.
Right.
And maybe you have to think if he had Skewer, if he had Rift Bolt, he should have been casting them, but maybe doesn't have them. 2 mana. I lied. Again. Dash Ragavan.
So Corey's fetch there was trying to leave up as oh, never mind.
Shadow Spear.
We do have 5 mana to spend pre-combat on dashing Ragavan, casting the Shadow Spear, and equipping.
Alright, reveals Goblin Guide. Shadow Spirit coming across. Do you have the answer? We're going to go for Skull Crack.
Ooh,
That's a good one.
this is perfect for Nick. Rather than spend a burn spell dealing with the creature, you get to burn your opponent's face and prevent the life gain. And there comes that Goblin God that was revealed. Is now in Corey's control. Decides to cast it rather.
Okay, so Goblin Guide defensive here. Mankuchi gonna draw for turn. That's a land. That means it's Searing Blaze time, and maybe it's game over. We see Searing Blaze and Skewer the Critics, but not enough to quite get it done. Gonna put Corey down to 2. And now we're gonna have to dash Ragavan and then equip it with the Shadow Spear, seems like. Skewer the Critics needs to probably kill this other Goblin Guide, but maybe just gonna go for Wear Tear and just destroy the Shadow Spear. That seems like a reasonable play as well.
Right. So Nick's trying to kind of meter out these burn spells so that they all hit the face. He doesn't want to spend anything on creatures if he can afford to, and the Wear Tear is exactly what affords him to do that.
Alright, so we're going to attack with both. Wear Tear destroys, Shadow Spear. Goblin Guide reveals something. I think it was Monster Swiss Spear. Hard to tell. And then we're going to get in some damage, and we're very close to winning through combat. That's a Skewer the Critics. That is going to be lethal if Corey doesn't have some sort of answer here. There's a Skewer the Critics in Mankuchi's hand. We do
Well, this Skewer is Corey's.
Oh! Okay, cool. Okay, so Ragavan Goblin Guide teaming up to just steal the top card if it's not a land.
Yeah, so on turn 2 we saw that Lava Spike hit for Corey, and that was a little bit too early. But against burn, you can definitely later in the game get into these spots where their burn hits are just as live for you because both players are so low.
Mm-hmm.
So Corey is really thinking it over and declines to cast the Skewer the Critics.
Interesting. Has Grinding Station in hand. Maybe values the mana for potential combo kills. Should a removal spell prevent him from doing something next turn? Needs a Lightning Bolt. What is that? Is that
I believe that's a
Blaze?
Searing Blaze?
I think that's it. Because we have Skewer the Critics as well. If Corey had just played the Skewer the Critics, this fetch land wasn't going to be usable.
Wow.
And now he's going to get punished for it. Corey, do you have an answer? It looks like his hand has Prismatic Ending, Grinding Station, a couple of Ragavans.
Really, all that could do it is a Spell Pierce, and Corey has not played one yet. So we could be going to game 3.
Yep. Gotta be kicking yourself if you're Corey and not playing that Skewer the Critics off that 1 mana. Alright. Even if you're able to kill the Goblin Guide, you still take the 3 damage, so that doesn't really change anything.
Right.
Corey down to 2. Mankuchi gonna go ahead and fetch. Down to 3.
Is he going to make Corey wait on it? No, there we go.
Alright, Skewer you. You got the answer, Corey. No, packs it in.
All right, game 3.
Yep. Gotta be feeling for Corey in that spot. One small different decision could have been the difference between winning and losing that game in match.
Right.
All right, as these players shuffle up, I want to take a moment and shout out our sponsors for this weekend. Big thanks to Ultimate Guard for sponsoring the Apex series, giving us huge amounts of cool Ultimate Guard swag to create swag bags for all of our satellite stores that run Apex Invitational qualifiers. The top 8 will be receiving like little gift baskets full of these Ultimate Guard products, and we give that swag bag to every single Apex Invitational qualifier. So if you're a big fan of Ultimate Guard products like I am, make sure to check out apexgaming.gg, get a list of upcoming Invitational qualifiers, and you too can punch your ticket to the Apex Invitational in November. Players right now are in round number 4. We have 8 rounds of Swiss, followed by top 8. The prize payout is as follows: 9th through 16th place, $100. 5th through 8th place, $250. 3rd and 4th place each receiving $500. 2nd place receiving a check for $700. And then, finally, 1st place, big payday up top, 1,500 bones. You got to be pretty looking forward to that if you're doing well in the event, right? $1,500 is a lot of cash.
If I knew how to whistle, I would whistle. Yeah, like that.
Oh, I thought that was you doing it. Oh, that was me doing it?
Can't lie to our audience
Okay.
like that.
Well, they can't see. You could have just said, Anyway. So on top of the Modern 5K that we have today, we do have a ton of awesome side events, and we will be doing this type of a thing basically every month until the end of time. We had a popper event that started at noon, and we have Mystery Two-Headed Giant, or Mystery Convention Two-Headed Giant event that we just fired off, and I know Big Boss Man Kyle Huck is in there playing with his son. It's always nice to see families playing games together.
Yeah, they were very excited about that.
Yep. Around a little bit later this afternoon, we'll be doing a modern RCQ for any of the players who are in this RCQ. This is a destination RCQ, but if you get busted out of it, you're more than welcome to join the RCQ, which is a $25 event where if you 5-0, you qualify for the regional championships. Pretty great deal. We're also doing Chaos Collector Booster Sealed at 5 p.m., as well as all-day Command Zone. We have a lot of people over at the Command Zone today. I think we had 16 or so.
Yeah, there's a crowd.
Nice. Good stuff. We are going to be doing a very similar event to this weekend in about a month on September 9th. We're going to be doing another Apex Magic weekend, and one of our special guests is going to be, well, two of our special guests, really. It's going to be the Scry Babies.
Yeah.
For those of you who really like Commander, Louis Stardust and Tori the Vast, both going to be here in Caldwell, Ohio, along with Comedian, as well as Steve Stillman. And many of them are going to be over in the Command Zone all weekend. So if you're a fan of Commander, make sure to check out Apex Gaming, Caldwell, Ohio on 9/8, 9/9, and 9/10. And we'll see you there. As these players are shuffling up here for game number 3, Corey's going to be on the play. Keeps a 7. Nick Mancucci going to 6 right now on the draw with Burn. Tell me about what mulliganing means in a Burn deck.
Well, the way your burn deck is built, you're trying to convert every card, if at all possible, into 3 damage. And every time you mulligan, you're cutting yourself off of one of those 3 damage sources. You can, sometimes you put back a land, try to get lucky with a 1-lander or a 2-lander, but that's still that many fewer cards that you're able to directly convert into chunks of your opponent's life total.
All right, let's see if Mancucci wants to keep this 6, and if so, what is he going to be putting back? I see 1 land. I don't see a creature. Maybe 2 lands.
I believe that is an Old Border Monastery Swiftspear on the right.
Okay, I was wrong on all fronts. 2 lands, Monastery Swiftspear. And
Corey's leading us off with a fetch.
Island, probably. Mountain Ragavan, more likely.
There it is.
It's funny. Fetching for basics used to be no mountain ever in your deck because you just want to play around Blood Moon.
Right.
Now it's like, there was always the occasional mountain that I would play in like Temur Delver or whatever, just in case I was playing against Burn, so I could fetch mountain to play Bolt on one. And now that Ragavan and DRC exist, we just have these incredible like mid-rangey type creatures in red, and so fetching mountain is a very common play.
Right. This was a bit of a point of contention at the Pro Tour even, where I believe one of the Team of Rhinos players in the top 8 did have the basic mountain, and 2 of them did not. So definitely a deck building decision to be made. Ragavan just hits a land.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Corey has 4 Urza Sagas.
Yes.
In hand.
Oh.
I see a lot.
I see at least 2. There's a lot of sagas in there.
A lot of Urza Sagas in there. That's a lot of constructs. Searing Blaze. Zap, zap,
Searing
zoop.
Blaze, Ragavan, and you.
Come on, Spell Pierce. Come on, darling. Nope.
No.
Bang. 3 damage, 5 damage. Corey down to 14, I believe. Don't count my math on it.
13.
Oh, wait, 13.
Swift Spear got in last turn.
Sure did. Saga up to 2. Corey gonna be playing a land here. I love the Corey Treasure token. He won the Star City Games Invitational
Right.
back in 2021 and got that likeness on a token. Now, Commander players everywhere, when they get some of them, just have Corey on their treasure tokens. It's
Yeah.
so cool.
I could not believe it when I saw that art. It is perfect.
I don't want to take full credit for it. I think Brad actually might have come up with it, but
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck being in the big vault or
Right,
whatever,
right.
I wanted me, Brad, and I think BBD or Ross
Uh-huh.
to be the ducks,
The nephews.
the nephews over there, Huey, Louie, and Dewey. But they just went with Corey swimming through a pile of gold, and I absolutely adore that token.
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right, Whirling Vortex plus Lava Spike and Minkuchi is banging on the door. This thing is attacking for 3 right now, it looks like, and Corey might just need to take it so that those constructs can actually stay alive. Otherwise, it's in Chump Block City.
Right. This is going to be a perfect turn for these constructs because the Saga is also about to go off, and very strong chance they fetch a Shadow Spear. And the Roiling Vortex in play threatens to shut off life gain every turn from here on out, but Corey does get 1 turn because Nick is tapped out.
Right.
So he might be able to generate a life total swing while he has the chance.
He's really contemplating a chump block here and then floating and maybe trying to combo kill that grinding station next turn, as well as like Underworld Breach and a 0-mana artifact. It's doable, but Rolling Vortex makes that extremely difficult. So he's going to need an answer for that if he wants to go that route. So I think his best course of victory is likely your thing with Shadow Spear, and I think you just got to take the Swiss Spear damage here.
Right.
It's a lot, but, a 3-3 versus a 3-4, you're just throwing away so much equity by chump blocking.
Right. This construct, I believe, is going to be a 5/5 next turn when you add in the Shadow Spear's stat boost. And that's almost has to be more important. There we go. Corey takes a 3. Pulls out a Matthias Hunt construct, I believe.
Yep. Another cool token from old Star City Games. Former employee of mine, but current employee of Corey B. He's on Commander Versus. You can check that out on YouTube. Very cool program that's been going for quite a while with such household names as Stephen Green, Jonathan Suarez, Jeremy Knoll, Justin Parnell. Those folks that I'm sure you work with, or most of them.
Yeah,
many of them.
I work with John and Steven. Here comes the construct, and Corey is thinking about what to do with this Saga. Appears to be just floating the mana right now.
At 6 life, a precarious life total to be sure.
Now, if Corey does have another land in hand, he can create a construct, play the land, and then still use that treasure to have the 2 mana to equip, and would actually not go down on artifacts at all because of the Saga replacing the treasure.
Nice. That's true. That extra mana line around could be quite useful. And we know from earlier in the game that Corey has at least 1 more Urza Saga in hand and maybe 2 more. So
Right.
that play at the very least is guaranteed to him, which is nice.
I imagine Corey is also contemplating, is it possible I just win the game this turn?
It's so hard against the Rolling Vortex because every time you play a
True.
0 mana card, you take 5 damage. So you just have to guarantee getting the Vortex off the table before doing that.
True.
And I think just winning with constructs is just a much more easy to do thing. Unless he has, Wear Tear in hand or something that he brought in. But
Right. Does get the Shadow Spear, and looks like we are equipping. That is a 5/5 construct with Trample and Lifelink.
now, is there any difference between making the construct now and making the construct after damage or next turn during combat? It's about the same,
no,
right?
Yeah, it's about the same. There's, I suppose, no reason to do it at sorcery speed. Although your opponent's probably not up, not expecting you to do anything else.
All right, well, Corey is going to chunk in for 5, going to gain 5, back up to 11, and Nick Mancucci down to 12. We're going to go Mancucci's way, draw a card, take 1 from the Rolling Vortex, down to 11. Life totals will be updated shortly.
There we go. Oh, almost. Corey is, with this treasure, threatening interaction of various kinds.
that a rest in peace drawn for Mancucci?
I believe so.
Now what you want to see when you're trying to scrap through the last points of damage.
Right.
Rolling Vortex is obviously good against people trying to gain life, but it can't be understated how hard it is to hold up a red mana every single turn.
That and Urza Saga is very good at quickly just turning the pressure in the other direction.
Yes, definitely. One heck of a land is Urza Saga.
Very true. Nick's thinking about it. Skullcrack U, main phase.
Interesting. He's gonna attack. This is maybe he doesn't see the treasure, because the treasure means that we can Saga and block. I don't see anything in hand that really changes this. So now we turned that treasure into a 5/5 blocker or 4/4 blocker.
Right.
4/4
Possible
blocker.
misstep from Nick.
And now Mancucci takes it. Swifter down. Prevent life gain, but a big attack coming from Corey. Maybe even able to find lethal this turn. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so we have the Rolling Vortex is activated, but that does put Nick down to 10 with that Sunbaked Canyon.
I think that's just game over. I think he just took a damage and it ended the game for him because Urza Saga, Chapter 3, finds an artifact, and we have 2 5/5s in play attacking for 10. So, looks like Corey B going to be taking down the match and going to go to 3-1 with his patented Jeskai Breach deck. Maybe just not a route for victory for Nick Mancucci, and that's how it goes sometimes. Shadow
Right.
Spear makes you hold up a bunch of mana every turn. The Urza Saga puts a ton of pressure on you for not very much investment, and that's all she wrote.
Right. Yeah. Saga is kind of a ridiculous card. We saw it come into play in the 8-rack match in last round. Quickly turned the corner, just like it's doing for Corey right here.
Yeah, something to be said about lands that have so many powerful abilities, and Urza
Yeah.
Saga is just like pound for pound, maybe the most abilities on a land ever printed.
And just to put the nail in the coffin, Corey fetches up a Haywire Mite that could answer a Rolling Vortex if he needed to, and shows us he did have the 4th Urza Saga.
All right, well, we're going to main phase a construct, and this is just going to make it an attack for 12 instead of an attack for 10, and that's going to be all she wrote. Nang Mancucci backs it up. Corey Baumeister takes the match 2-1 and moves to 3-1 overall.